Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening for tonight's Village Board meeting. What's up? Just take a little time to warm up tonight, that's all. Thank you for joining us this evening. Today's June 5th, and it's 7:37.
I've got 7:33 on my
There
phone.
you go. You're right, 7:33. Can you call the roll, please?
Sure. Trustee McGreal is absent this evening. Trustee Dozell?
Here.
Trustee Zielinski?
Here.
Trustee Pierce?
Here.
Trustee Juarez?
Here.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here. You please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To start the evening, we have a short bid opening. How many bids do we have?
We have two bids.
Okay.
First bid, number one, is from Hassey Construction, Inc. at 10 Lincoln Avenue, Calumet City, Illinois, 60409.
Again, folks, this is for the 119th Street Stony Creek Emergency Storm Sewer Replacement. It's approximately, Mr. Engineer, maybe, 275 feet of pipe? Okay. We're going to put some new cement pipe to replace the steel corrugated that fell apart, right? Is that what it is? Yeah.
They do include a bid bond amount of 10%. The total of this, based on their schedule of prices, they have 21 items listed here, is for a total of $120,539.00. And the second bid has been received from Alsip Construction, 11832 South Harding Avenue in Alsip, Illinois, 60803. Alstirda also has a bid bond in here. For 10%. And they also include a list of 21 items, and their total is $94,978.00. And those are the two bids.
Great, thank you. We'll refer those to committee for approval then, too. Anything else from you?
Not under the bid opening, no.
Okay. Great. Moving along, officer reports, starting with myself. On tonight's agenda, folks, I'm happy to announce after 32 years of service, Police Chief Rads retired last week with the department, and I asked Chief Rads if he'd join us this evening to recognize his retirement. I'd like to say something on behalf of Chief Rads. Chris Rads was born and raised in Alsip. He grew up on Fay Lane and is a graduate of our schools. Not only has he been an Alsipian for life, but also a devoted civil servant to our citizens for 32 years. Chris was hired as a dispatcher back in 1985. He was promoted through the years, earning every position and rank existing and available within our police department up the chain of command, with his career culminating to being our police chief for the past 8 years. Along the way, he was always interactive with our citizens in our town. He coached the Thunderbolts girls softball team for many years. He's always been actively involved and instrumental in our annual October Haunted Trail functions, as well as the National Night Out events. Chris has developed a program to battle bullying within our schools and devoted himself to helping parents and teachers alike face and combat this enormous problem that exists everywhere today in our neighborhoods and our schools. He has championed this cause by conducting and teaching seminars on his personal time to help educate and train professionals to help those who are victims of this type of abuse. We really appreciate that, Chris. Also, we always want to note that his public relations skills have been off the charts. Our business owners and homeowners alike all know him on a personal level, and they know they can contact him at any time for his help as well. And anyone who knows him knows he has made a significant difference in countless lives in our community for many years. At 53 years old, Chris is elected to retire, moving on to the next chapter of his life with his devoted wife Leslie and 2 beautiful daughters. We wish him good luck with many happy, healthy years ahead in all of his future endeavors. Chris, his history with the department, he was, as we said, hired in 1985 as a radio control operator. In 1987, he was a patrolman. 2001, he was promoted to rank as sergeant. 2005 as a lieutenant, and then 06 as a deputy chief, and serving as police chief since 09. He's also been a commander in the investigative division prior to that, crime prevention officer, and officer friendly as well. Chris, thank you for your service, and he was nice enough to share this plaque with us folks, and I'd like to share with you as well, too. Chris Rads.
I don't know who that guy was, but Chris Rad sent me because I'm the much younger version than the guy you described. That took a lot of years to get there. Oh, and one correction, Excaliburs, not Thunderbolts.
Excalibur.
Because I'll get beat up real bad
Really?
if I don't.
That was the intel I got.
Yeah, that's
there,
okay.
You know,
Not
so,
your fault.
you know.
Not your fault.
So-
It's definitely the Excaliburs.
And what this says, folks, is this is presented to Police Chief Christopher Rads in grateful appreciation for over 30 years of loyal and dedicated service to the Alsip Police Department. Best wishes in your retirement from the men and women of the Alsip Police Department, serving October 13th, 1985 till May 27th, 2017. Congratulations,
Thank
Chris.
you. Thank you. What makes me really sad is there's some cops on the department that weren't even born in '85 when they start. Yeah, there's a couple hands now. But I will tell you this. One thing that I did appreciate, and I appreciate you mentioning born and raised in Alsip. I sat there when Steve Martinez went through this time, and I kind of watched him. Steve's another homegrown guy. I wanted to say a couple things. Number one, I was fortunate to come on the department when I had a lot of great leaders. I had a lot of great patrol officers. I feel that I was raised by guys like Ken Wood, Dave Snooks, Rick Dizelle, Warner T. Houston. I mean, I was raised by these guys. Then, as my career went on, I got to work with some of the best and the brightest. But I will also say this, that when I became a chief, I was scared half to death. But I was fortunate to work with some of the best department heads that this village had to offer. When I walked in as a department head, there were guys like Chuck Geraci with 30-plus years on. Mike Barron's a phenomenal water commissioner, 30-plus years. Vince Cullen, 30-plus years. And I can happily say that in my career, I served the people of Alsip. I didn't serve a paycheck. I didn't serve these folks. I served the people of Alsip. That's what my job was. My job was to serve the people. And it wasn't about catering to this guy or that guy or making sure they got paid enough money or this. I served the people, and that's what was a priority to me. And I will tell you this, coming in under such great department heads like that, Roger Early, still the clock is ticking. Coming in under great department heads like that, I'm leaving the department with 3 phenomenal administrators in the likes of Scott Zablotny, Sean Schultz, and Jay Miller. I couldn't have made better choices. So rest easy, Alsip. You have some great guys at the helm, and I'm very proud of them. And with that being said, also, as these dinosaurs, as a matter of fact, these dinosaur department heads, we may be in that Park District event because I heard the theme is dinosaurs, John. So we may just walk across the beginning. But I will tell you this, we turned it over to great department heads like Danny Tribin, Mikey Frater, another born and raised Alsip, Tommy Stasinski, Jay Miller. I think that Alsip is in great hands, and I'm going to be happily riding off into the sunset, leaving this village in some capable, competent, wonderful people, wonderful hands. Thank you for everything. I bought a fidget spinner, so now that's my important thing to do all day. I spit my fidget. That's it. Do I need the box? Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. Let me get a handshake in, and let me shake this board's hand. Oh, I'm going to get a hug. Look at that. There's the bonus right there. Thank you, Trustee.
You want the hug or the handshake?
I'll take a little bit of both. Thanks for letting me serve, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Chris Reid is out, and if I do this retirement correctly, you'll probably forget what I look like. Thanks, everybody.
Nice job, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you. We were going to hope to make that a short meeting, but then I started talking.
Yeah, no. You're always very entertaining.
Yeah. Helen's like the mafia. She gets rid of chiefs like this.
That's yeah. It was almost a great segue to my next matter of business here then too. But in the chief's absence, I would like to. I mentioned this at last week's committee meeting. In the chief's absence, I'd like to appoint. Acting Chief of Police in his absence, Chief Gerald Miller, to be our acting police chief at this time. To be official about that, I'd like to get a motion and a second to approve that.
I would make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Can we call it first roll, please?
You had to do this. Roll call number 1 to appoint Deputy Police Chief Gerald Miller as Police Chief. Trustee McGrill is absent. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Miller.
Congratulations.
Congratulations as well.
Another one to push out the door, Helen.
No. Well, okay, again, thank you for the segue again, because now we got...
Like a comedy team up
yeah, now I'd like to announce, though, that I did have a meeting with the Chief's administrative assistant, Helen. I met with Helen on Friday, and unfortunately, Helen's going to be retiring at the end of July. So, Helen, the reason I brought this up was that I did speak with HR today, and as we always make as a professional courtesy to the in-house personnel, we are going to post that job position. And should anyone not take advantage of that, we will certainly advertise outside. But for right now, I'm going to ask the board for at least a consensus to approve posting that job in-house.
Yes.
Yes. Mike, you okay with that? Trustee Zelinski?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Pierce, I was
Yes.
asking for just a consensus. It's okay to post in-house?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustees, it was brought to my attention this morning as well that I had mentioned a couple of meetings ago about approving invoices Heather Tomko and payroll and accounts payable asked me to remind everyone at each committee meeting we need to approve bills like this evening, so that they have these ample time to approve them at the next. I apologize. At our committee meetings, we need to approve all the bills so that they have ample time to approve it at the next board meeting. So please, at a committee meeting, please get your bills approved. And this way, they've got those in time for the next board meeting. She said a few have been trickling in kind of late. We want to make sure we pay our vendors on time.
So I'm just because I'm new at this, I try to check my mail every other day, but I sign these and then I just stick them back in my mailbox. So if somebody's sticking something in my mailbox expecting a signature, just look back in my mailbox.
Thank you. You know what? And we'll certainly, right now, Trustee Pierce, what we'll do, all the keys access all of the trustee boxes, like in the mailboxes in here and so forth. If you do sign something not at a committee meeting, if you would, please, if you can send her an email to Heather Tomko, just let her know that you've got something in the box for her to pick up, because if it's after hours, you're not going to reach her box.
Okay. But I don't even know which one hers is.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
that's what I'm saying. I just put it back in mine.
Anyway, is
Her
what I'm
box
saying.
is in the clerk's
Right,
office.
it's in the office. In other words, if you do it after hours, you have to let her know that you approve some
Okay.
bills. Just we want to make sure we get our vendors paid on time. Also, folks, just notice to everyone, I got this today, actually, from the Illinois Department of Transportation. Recently initiated a preliminary engineering and environmental studies over at Route 83 and 127th Street. This improvement is included in the department's fiscal year 2017-2022 proposed highway improvement program. The proposed project is anticipated to consist of bridge rehabilitation. At this early stage of our project development, we'd like to particularly inform the Village of Alsip of their opportunity to provide input into the need for pedestrian and bicycle accommodations. Please let IDOT, please inform IDOT of any existing or planned bicycle usage in the vicinity of this project, particularly bike lanes and separate bicycle trails. This information will be helpful in determining whether any special design features need to be considered to accommodate bicyclists or pedestrians. And also, I won't go into all this, but they're just saying that we're responsible for, based on a preliminary review of the existing conditions, it appears as though a sidewalk along the north side of 127th Street from the bridge to Laramie will likely be required in order to accommodate pedestrians. According to IDOT's policy, this accommodation would be provided along or short distances outside of the project limits if the local agency, being us, is willing to participate in a cost sharing and accept maintenance responsibilities of the path. If the local agency, again being us, chooses not to participate, the department may decide for us whether or not this needs still to be done. But again, the cost share on this on our end would be about 20% of the cost if that comes into play. So I just want everybody make everybody aware of that. Also, Park Lawn organization is having their 32nd annual golf outing at Prestwood Country Club, July 17th. Anyone wants to participate in that? And I'm going to post some information. We were all asking about the properties that the village owns, the two houses on 45th Avenue. And there's about 4 different property tax pins on these properties. And according to Village Properties manager Roger Early, he's saying that, and we knew about this a couple seasons ago, that they need some new windows and roofs. There could be as much as $36,000 to $40,000 worth of maintenance that needs to be done on these homes. So everyone needs to consider those when we're talking about reviewing their leases at this time. Our finance director, Kent Olivan, is on vacation until June 13th. And at this time, too, because I did make a temporary appointment of Mr. Olivan at last month's meeting, I'm allowed to do this on a 30-day basis this evening. This is my temporary appointment. I'd like to reappoint Mr. Olivan on a temporary basis for another 30 days until I have a report ready for a regular appointment if we decide to do so, at which time. So that's my pick. It doesn't require board action at this time then either. Oak Forest is having a household hazardous waste collection day Saturday, June 10th from 8 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon at their Public Works facility, 15800 Laurel Avenue. We'll post this out in the hallway. They'll accept household waste, anything from aerosol cans and antifreeze to boat batteries, pool chemicals, you name it. They'll take all of your chemicals that you're willing to dispose of, and that's at the Oak Forest Public Works. We have something coming up. I met with this gentleman the other day that owns the BP gas station up here at 122nd and Cicero. He's having a grand reopening this Friday, June 9th, and he asked us to be out there for a ribbon cutting ceremony, and we had a real nice conversation. He's got these flyers out. It's all day long. He's got 25-cent hot dogs and drinks and so forth. And through the end of the month, everything at his, a lot of things at his place, I should say, like fountain drinks and hot dogs and whatnot, coffee, everything's 50 cents throughout the month of June at his store. He's actually moving to a Circle K brand that's going to be out there too, so everyone trying to take advantage of that. I had a nice conversation with Mr. Bahat, and he actually offered a couple of donation checks. And he asked me to pick a couple of worthy causes in the village, and we have a lot of worthy causes, but I asked the Little League and the SWISRA, Special Needs Group out of the Alsip Park District, to participate in that too. So we'll be out there 10 o'clock Friday morning. If anyone would like to join us, we appreciate it. Thank you. Last couple things on here. Village Attorney Vince Kankar sent me a note. It's just saying that based on the last meeting that we had, that he did receive a credit report back for the principal owners of the Checkers restaurant that we were considering, and that there have been no bankruptcies, there are no defaults on any loans, and as far as he's concerned, the credit report is more than acceptable, and the village can proceed and move forward with the credit check that we asked for on those principal owners. The 911 Enhanced Telephone System Board will meet for a public meeting on Thursday this week, June 8th, at 10 o'clock in the village boardroom. Anyone would like to join us for that meeting? And that's all I have for this evening. Next, Clerk Petzel.
I have a request for the approval of the minutes of the May 8th, 2017 committee meeting. I have another request for approval of the minutes of the May 8th, 2017 board meeting. The request for the approval of the minutes of May 15th, 2017 committee meeting, and request for the approval of the minutes of the May 15th, 2017 board meeting. And just a reminder that vehicle stickers are still on sale. They're due by July 1st. The last Saturday of June, which is June 24th, is the only other Saturday, the remainder of the selling term, that Village Hall will be open. Otherwise, normal business hours. That's all I have there.
Okay, thanks. Attorney's report?
I have nothing to report, Your Honor.
Okay. Engineer's report?
I just have a construction update. The Arbor Park and Deer Park resurfacing is finishing up.
Look great. Looked nice. I was back there Sunday for an incident a couple Sundays ago. The streets back there look great, and all the neighbors were real appreciative and so forth then, too. Public forum. Would anyone like to address the board? Anything on tonight's agenda? Go ahead. Sure.
Mr. Ryan, I just want to say about Chief,
Yeah.
when he said he serves the community, Mr. Ryan knows I get ongoing problem with the neighbor flooding water into my property. We started a complaint 18 months ago, got nowhere with the former administration. I ended up reaching out to the chief, came and walked my property and saw what the problem was, and hopefully, but I just want to make that, as he's leaving, he said that he worked for the public. He did what nobody else could do. He came out, looked at the property, and helped us. Mr. Ryan, almost there.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna.
Would you sign in, please?
Yeah, Excuse me, Donna. Anyone that speaks to me, we just need to sign in to recognize you. You just sign up here. Thanks. Thanks for your comments, too. Anyone else? Thank you. Standing committees, Finance, Trustee McLaughlin.
I'll have a motion to approve the list of payroll dated May 26, 2017. Gross amount $380,942.59. Voluntary employee deductions and taxes totaling $138,752.75 for a net payroll of $242,189.84. I also have a motion to approve the list of bills dated June 5th, 2017. From the recap, corporate fund, $494,758.56. Road and Bridge, $113,339.22. MFT, $3,491.30. Pulaski Corridor TIF, $11,017.41. Waterworks, $1,168,021.16. Heritage 2, $70,899.29. For grand total, all funds, $1,861,526.94. And that's all I have at this time.
Great. Next, fire, trustee McGawhorn.
Okay, I'm going to go a little out of order here, but first I have the monthly report for April 2017. A couple items in recap. We had structure fires of 1, vehicle fires of 1, other fires 2, for a grand total of 4 fires. Rescue calls requiring emergency medical treatment, 212. Other rescue calls, 2, for total rescue calls of 214. We had a total of 5 hazardous condition calls, 20 service calls, 25 good intent calls, and then 43 false calls. So total all calls for the month of April, 311, and estimated total fire loss of $101,000. I also have, we want to say thank you to Griffith Foods.
Correct. Griffith Foods was kind enough to donate 4 battery-operated Sawzalls to our fire department last week. Mayor Ryan was out there to take a picture with them. There was a trade-off for fire extinguisher classes. We're going to offer them fire extinguisher training. So one of the things we kind of worked out was for them to provide the donation. That will be added to our equipment of all 3 of our fire engines, as well as our ladder truck. So it'll help us do a better job for different rescue scenarios with battery-operated equipment instead of cord-operated equipment. It's also the same battery that works our combination extrication equipment also. So we kind of have the best both worlds at the same time for us. We're very grateful for Griffith. Griffith has been a big supporter of us. About 6 years ago, they also donated a piece of equipment for a confined space rescue. So incredible company to work with. So we really do appreciate the donation from them.
Okay. I also have to announce that we received a grant. Do you want to talk about that?
Right. The Illinois Fire Safety Alliance is a statewide agency that provides a lot of programs for fire safety. This year they had a grant program that was donating 100 smoke detectors and 10 carbon monoxide detectors. So whoever won it, I guess, is the easiest way. So we had to put in for it, and we were picked as one of the agencies to receive it. So as part of the Division 2020, which is a community risk reduction program, it's a national program we've been involved in since the last year. So we're going to use it as part of our program for residents that need both smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. We provide the detector. We're not on the hook for any liability. I know it's one thing that's always asked. The smoke detectors do have the new longer life batteries that are out there as well. The carbon monoxide detectors also have the video display, so if we have to respond, we can see what levels of carbon monoxide are in there. So our Public Education Bureau will be working with different residents on what their needs are also.
Very good.
Okay. And now at this time, I'm also going to turn it over to Chief once again.
Okay. Last Thursday, we held a drill at Swaparama. It was an active shooter drill, mass casualty drill. This process started in January, February. So Carl Davies is one of our firefighter paramedics. He was actually responsible for organizing this activity. So I'm going to have Carl kind of come up and give an overview. And we also have Steffi Witten. She's from South Suburban Hospital, and also Sue Hecht. They're also part of the region that manages the grant, so I don't know if you guys want to come up and give a quick overview after Carl. No? Okay.
No.
All right. So I'll let Carl explain the grant.
Like Chief said, my name is Carl Davies from the Alsip Fire Department. We were recently fortunate enough to receive a federal grant for disaster training. The grant was sponsored by the Region 7 Healthcare Coalition, which includes many local hospitals like Christ and South Suburban. We went against 4 other departments, including the Orland Fire Protection District and Country Club Hills, and we were chosen for the grant. It was the first time in the history of the department that we were able to have a combined training with the police department, fire department, and public works. There were also over 15 local fire departments who responded as part of the exercise. We set up an active shooter scenario at the Alsip Swaparama. The police department had to neutralize the shooter while the fire department triaged and transported over 40 victims. The public works was called in to set up barricades and secure the perimeter. The grant was invaluable in providing all 3 departments real-life, hands-on training. Through the grant, we were also able to purchase over $20,000 worth of equipment that was divided between the fire, police, and public works departments. There was a great turnout from everyone involved, and it greatly enhanced the working relationships between all 3 departments, and we're already planning joint trainings in the future.
At the highlight of the activity, we had probably close to 200 people there between all the different fire agencies, the hospital, the victims that we used. We did everything on the grounds of the Swaparama, so we began setup at 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and I think we got out of there sometime around 6:30. We're very fortunate to be able to get this grant. I appreciate Steffi. We also competed. There's also another $50,000 grant that another department to the west of us. We actually did more with less with our grant than the other grant did, and we actually had more fire department responses with us as well. So, very happy. Besides the equipment, we also provided training to both the police department as well as the fire department. We had specialized training in bleeding control. We had specialized training in mass casualty and working with disaster control. We also had another 8-hour class with 10 of our police officers and 10 of our firefighters, as well as Payless Heights, on rescue task force. So if we go into a hostile environment, the police officers and firefighters together work to go in and treat the victims and bring them out so we can transport them. One of the biggest things we've seen in our country over the last couple of years is active shooter events. It just doesn't happen in big cities. It happens in small towns, especially what we have in the village of Alsip. So we're better prepared, and we're only one of a few departments in our area that actually have this preparation right now. Just look in the last 2 weeks what's happened in England. The last weekend we see what happened on the London Bridge. The weekend before that we saw what happened at one of the concerts. So it's just a matter of time when it hits our area. At least we're better prepared, not only for the training, but also the equipment. So we appreciate everybody that was involved, and appreciate with both Steffi and Sue what you guys do out there also, and enhance our exercise. We're able to test a lot of different things off of this exercise. So it was an incredible day. Couldn't ask for better weather. It was 80-something degrees outside, so it wasn't too bad. We also had a lot of companies that also donated. Coca-Cola donated 20 cases of water, 5 cases of Gatorade for us. The 511 Club, which provides rehab and water to a lot of our major fires, were also out there. They're handing out water for the day. Nino's Pizza came, we had pizzas from Nino's Pizza. We had subsidies, so we used a lot of our local businesses to also help feed everybody that was out there. So it was an incredible a thing to be able to pull off. Lot of participation, a lot of cooperation. We couldn't ask for a better day. So the other part of this, which I kind of got Kyle here on false pretenses and the way I asked you guys to get here, is I like to present him an award. So Kyle, come on back up again. So that's the main reason why you are here today. You just happened to pick a vacation day, so I had to get you here somewhere. So this is presented to firefighter paramedic Carl Davies for accomplishing an outstanding job in developing, organizing, and managing the MCI active shooter training exercise on June 1st, 2017, presented June 2017. So, Carl, congratulations. Carl put in countless amount of hours trying to organize this. He looks about 10 years older since we started in February, so he cannot wait for June 2nd to get here. Everything was over with. So he did an incredible job. Again, just try to get everything organized. We have meetings about every 3 weeks. with all the major departments. And like I said, right now, I know Chief Raz mentioned about the residents and the citizens of Alsip. With what Carl accomplished over the last couple months, they're much more safer and we're much better prepared. So I want to thank you and then everybody that was involved with that. So thank you so much.
I tell you, just a comment on my end, too. First time witnessing something like that. I want to say to all the police and fire, you guys did a great job. Seriously, everybody did their part. Everyone handled their drills as they should. They had some nice tight trains kind of coming and going to get the victims out. And Chief, I got a kick out of, we had a bunch of actors there, like a bunch of high school kids, and they all had like fake blood on them and so forth, and they're yelling in the hallways and stuff like that. And every so often there was someone there from Advocate Hospitals that would throw like a makeshift, what was supposed to be a baby or something. They'd throw it out in the hallway, like, what about my baby and stuff like that. And like, we'll get there, and everybody kept their cool and everybody did a great job and all that kind of thing too. They had a triage all set up and so forth. And one of your firemen, I seen back, he had all the tape on him, so he was taping each victim coming out, what the severity was, and the ambulances coming through, and everybody did a great job, Chief. Nice job.
I want to thank you, plus Trustee Dazell and Zielinski for coming out and watching it as well. Like I said, it takes a lot of orchestration to get everything in place, and even the area fire departments. Like Carl said, we have 15 fire departments. We would have had more, but Dalton and Phoenix decided to have a fire at the same time, so we lost some of the ones that were supposed to come, but that happens. We also tested our areas disaster, I guess, mutual aid, if you will, that if we have any type of an incident like that, what you saw was about a third of what we'd actually have out there. So we always try to plan for what might happen. A good example is last week we had an incident at the canal. So we had our area dive team come out there, and I know the mayor was out there, and we probably had 20, 25 pieces of equipment from about 30 different departments that are out there. And that's what it's about, is getting everybody together, to make sure we can manage and take care of the incident as best as we can. So we're very fortunate in the Chicagoland area for the resources that we have and how quick we can have them deployed.
All right.
So, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chief. Again, Chief Miller, tell your guys as well, too. Great job on that drill. You guys were good and tight, and everybody really knew what they were doing and so forth there, too. Thanks. Next, police. Trustee McGreal is absent. Committee?
Got set for an action item, the request for approval to hire one community service officer. Do you want to do these one at a time?
Yes, please.
So a motion, get
I
a
would make
second,
the
please.
motion.
Second.
We're going to call the roll.
Yes. Request for approval to hire one community service officer. Trustee McGrill is absent. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zielinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item, also for an action, is a request for approval to submit the property control sheet to transfer a squad car to the village building department. I would make said motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second motion on the floor. Request for approval to submit the property control sheet to transfer squad car to the village building department. Trustee McGrill is absent. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zielinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Next, Public Works. Trustee Juarez.
There's a few updates for Public Works. South Cook County Mosquito Abatement has been testing and treating standing water for mosquito control within the village. There's been no confirmed detection of West Nile and Alsip at this time. Public Works Department will continue to work with Cook County Mosquito Abatement to monitor and prevent mosquito breeding. There has been 4 temporary full-time summer laborers that have started working for Public Works, and there will be a total of 6 summer laborers that will be employed this summer. Public Works has been working with the MWRD in removing dead trees and cleaning of various creeks throughout the village. The IDOT department let them know that they're near completion of the 115th Street and Pulaski intersection improvement project. Permanent traffic lights have been put into place along with new street light poles and are awaiting final connections. Equipment has been moved in for the resurfacing of the streets at the intersection and will receive permanent pavement marking once complete. The Arbor Park Deer Park resurfacing project is also near completion. Public Works has performed some maintenance of the village-controlled street signs in the area. In addition, they will be performing parkway tree trimming and some tree removals in the area.
Where are we at with tree removals?
So the emerald ash trees have all been removed from parkways within the village. So now what tree removals we do are parkway trees that are dead that we're catching up on. Those are our first priority. So each year, we seem to get a couple more, but it's continuous.
So we're not catching up, it's just more are dying every year?
Yeah, yep, exactly. Some of these trees are over 50 years old, and they start getting diseased and infested with ants and other things, and the branches start breaking off, and they reach a point where they need to come down. So it's a continuous project each summer, but again, we continue to move forward and take down the ones that are deemed the most highest priority and continue on with that.
Okay.
We did, however, replant 11 new parkway trees this week, so we're also keeping the forest alive.
Very good, thanks.
Thanks.
Next, Building Department, Trustee Zelinski.
Yeah, we have a request for approval for the fireworks display and Fun Fest from the Alsip Park District on Saturday, June 17, 2017, at Aquatic Park on 119th and Costner Avenue, and waiver of permit fees. Number 2, we have approval of the Building Department monthly report for April 2017, and approval of the Building Department yearly report for May 1st, 2016 through April 30th, 2017.
Next, that's it?
Yes.
Thanks. Next, Water and Sewer, Trustee Dalzell.
The presentation of a list of bills, employee time records, the submission of the May 2017 monthly activity report, also the request for approval of an ordinance amending ordinance number 2017-3-3, which is authorizing the village to borrow funds from the Public Water Supply Loan Program for IEPA loan L17-5457. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next, License, Trustee Juarez.
Request for approval of a list of licenses dated June 5th, 2017.
Thank you. Economic Development, Trustee Pierce.
Request for approval of an ordinance authorizing the purchase of the property commonly known as 11658 South Pulaski Road, Alsip, Illinois, in furtherance of the objectives of the redevelopment plan and project approval for the Pulaski Road Corridor TIF redevelopment project area. Number 2, request for approval of the TIF application from RD Land Ventures LLC in an amount to not exceed 27.5. I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to ask you to clarify. Okay. Amount not to exceed $27,520 for parking lot improvements to the property located at 116-1838 to 38 South Pulaski, subject to the approval and execution of the redevelopment agreement.
Trustee Pierce, thank you. After looking at the TIF application, I did notice the amount of asphalt he was proposing for the parking lot, so I wanted to verify. I looked in the village code and wanted to verify with the engineer. The village engineer confirmed with me that he was going to request more asphalt than what was being proposed. So that is obviously going to affect the bid that he had and the 80% amount, so that's likely to go up. It doesn't change your motion at this point because ultimately we have to approve a redevelopment agreement. So in that we can change the amount we contribute in the pricing. But I just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that before we move forward. So,
all right, thank you. And the presentation of the economic development activities report. And Mayor, before Chris comes up, also there was Mary going to present tonight?
We could. Mary, would you say?
Actually, I was going to yield my time to Mary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, Mary, you had this is Mary Schmidt with our Chamber of Commerce.
Thanks.
Finally, Mary.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Mary.
No.
Did you touch the select button, Mary?
Hello, testing.
There you go.
Thank you. As the mayor said, Mary Schmidt with the Alsip Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the zone administrator for the CalSag Enterprise Zone. We'll figure out how to... I think we lost it, Erica. We had it. I'm the administrator of the CalSag Enterprise Zone, which is a zone that encompasses 17 communities. Thank you. And then this is how we get this to move forward. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So the CalSag Enterprise is one of 93 zones in the state of Illinois created to stimulate economic development and thereby expanding our tax base. We have had an active enterprise zone for 30 years. This is our third zone, which we got in 2016, and that will run until December 31st of 2031. And like Chris Rads, won't be here then. Okay. Oh, there we go. Let's try this. Okay. So again, in the enterprise zone, projects, new construction, expansion of commercial and industrial projects located in the zone, they may qualify for significant real estate tax and construction cost and savings. This incentive is designed for commercial, industrial, property classes, and 12 or more residential units remaining under one ownership. Some zones throughout the state cover single-family residents. This zone does not. Now, I'm going to try. Okay, so 17 communities. Alsip is one of 17 actually units of government, 16 communities, and unincorporated parts of Cook County. For our zone, that includes some things over on the west side, or the east side, where the some of the refinery property is, that is in Alsip, but is technically in unincorporated Cook County. This is a map of the enterprise zone. You can see how it kind of jiggles and jogs around with little connecting strips. And that is another map of the enterprise zone. That's also in your packet. So the incentives for the enterprise zone are the sales tax abatement on building materials for projects in the zone, a 50% abatement of the municipal portion of the additional value created as a result of the improvement. That's only on the added value, 50% of the village's portion for 5 years. But if you are receiving a TIF, or if you're in a TIF, or if you're receiving any other tax incentive like Cook County Class 6B or anything like that, you do not receive any additional tax benefit. There is a 50% reduction on local building permit fees from the municipality, and then some other state incentives for use tax and things like this. Just to recap, this application was submitted to the state of Illinois back in 2015. The then village board agreed that these would be the incentives that they would offer locally in addition to the state incentives to encourage economic development in Alsip. So that's how we got to this place. If you can see this, shows the current and past projects that were in the enterprise zone. The ones that are bold are the most recent ones, so the Aldi Cicero Avenue project where they expanded their store. Arkema Coatings did an enterprise zone project several years ago. They're currently doing one there now. Annixter Corporation is currently on a $4 million investment on the building directly next door to them, which they have taken over that space. Annixter came to us several years ago, built that building in the enterprise zone, and now they've virtually taken up the whole block. So that's one of those stories how incentives brings a project to the community, and in this case they have stayed and they have expanded, and they'll be doing a big robotics warehouse in that building next to them to the tune of about $4 million. The DoubleTree right now is undergoing a renovation of their sleeping rooms using the enterprise zone. You're familiar with Dunkin' Donuts and the Pilot gas station, the Taco Bell. Those three are interesting because that was vacant property. Those three spots were vacant. There was nothing going on there. The Pilot was an old car lot that had been vacant for years, and so through the enterprise zone and some other things, these are back up on our tax rolls, producing tax income. And in the case of like your Dunkin' Donuts and Taco Bell, we're also getting some sales tax off of those. The Illinois Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is currently undergoing a $14 million expansion and new construction at their location using the enterprise zone. And then you can see some of the other things that have been done over the years in the enterprise zone, some of the construction and the new addition to the village that we've seen. In January of 2016, right after the zone was approved, it was requested by municipalities that we all take a look at our maps to see if there was any territory that we might remove that would be unnecessary to make room to add some new territory. In our case, the village of Alsip removed, and you can see some areas down in there that was residential that was taken out of the zone because there would be no qualifying development. And in the blue, you can see the areas that we added. And basically, up on the top, you can see that we took 111th Street, we took it all the way to the bridge, which made more sense than ending it right where it ended in the purple. And down on the bottom, we sort of squared that off and added that property down there. And then we added a little teeny piece of property up on the right. And basically, there's a landowner that had 3 of their 4 parcels in the enterprise zone, and the 4th parcel was not included. And that's actually the Elsterta property, which abuts Pulaski Road, which we hope in the future we would see some development in that area. So that squared that off really nice so that we wouldn't have one piece in the middle of the development that wasn't in the enterprise zone. So that's what the new map will look like. This application is into the state of Illinois right now. We are expecting approval within 60 to 90 days as to whether or not this new territory will be accepted into the zone. We expect that it will be. We followed the proper procedures for application, but it's not official, and not until we receive that notification would those new places be included. Again, you can see the differences in the two. This brings our total enterprise zone to just under 15 square miles, so the zone is right at the limit. And should our town or any other town have a piece of property that would have to go in, or they would like to go in for a project, then we would we'd have to go back for another application. So we have a website, calsagizone.org, and I've given you the packages, the information. If you have any questions, my card is in there. It was just a little bit of information on another tool that Alsip has used over the years to help bring development Probably our biggest example is Annixter Corporation. Many of you may remember that was a empty Sears owned that years ago, and it was an empty piece of land for years and years. And Annixter came to us and asked us to put them in the enterprise zone and asked if we would do a 6B for them, and we did both at that time. And so that developed that whole area over there, again, helping to increase our tax base. So if you have any questions, feel free, and we'll keep you informed of some of the projects that are going on in the enterprise zone. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. I actually met with GC America over the weekend, and it's a Japanese-owned company. It's one of the larger employers in Alsip. They've got close to 250 employees, I believe, that work over there, with a couple of facilities that they have, but they are building a new facility at 127th Street, just east of, I believe that's American Recyclers. Was that them? Yeah, that was by the scrap metal place. On 127th and roughly Ridgeway. And their ownership was coming in from Japan today to go over final plans with their architects and their general contractor and so forth. So they're going to be breaking ground pretty soon on this then, too.
That's in the enterprise zone, so they'll be utilizing the enterprise zone incentives for that. They were on the list of they've done work over there.
Great company. And a pleasure meeting Dr. Mark Heiss, very nice guy, general manager over there.
Also had a conversation today with the people who bought the building on Ridgeway Avenue, a little further down on Ridgeway. It was the old Fire Protection Services building.
Right.
Spice Company is coming in there. Talked to them today, and they're in the enterprise zone as well, so they'll be using those.
I'm supposed to meet with him on Wednesday, I believe, and it's La Criolla. They're based on Randolph Street right now, but they're going to relocate to Alsip, and that's what they're a spice company. So, yeah, looking forward to having them come in.
A lot of exciting.
Exactly. Thanks much, Mary. I appreciate your help with that. Next, we had a special committee reports. Village Properties, Trustee McLaurin.
No report at this time.
Okay. Insurance, Trustee McGreal, so it'll be committee.
For Trustee McGrill, no report.
All right. Ordinance legislation, Trustee Pierce.
No report.
IT, Trustee Dalzell.
No report.
And we have the boat launch, Trustee Juarez.
On July 9th at the Alsip launch, the Illinois Bass Nation is scheduled for a tournament.
Thank you. Next, Planning and Zoning, Trustee Zelinski.
Yes, on Wednesday, June 14, 2017, there will be a public hearing for the following properties. First one's at 11633 South Mayfield to rezone the property from an I-2 to an I-2 special use to allow for transportation logistics. Second property is at 3350 West 131st Street to rezone the property from I-3 to I-3 special use to allow storage of heavy equipment, trailers, semi-tractors, and other vehicles. The third property is 11811 South Lamont, granting 1 foot of lot to 11819 South Lehman. And that's all.
So they're giving a foot to their neighbor, apparently. Okay. That's nice. Human Resources, Trustee McGrail will be committee.
On her behalf, no report.
Okay. Health and Pollution, Trustee Pierce.
At the committee meeting, I brought up the rodent issue over at McAllister. Chief Miller jumped in the middle of that, took over for Chief Rads. Can you give a minute synopsis on what you found out?
Did you get my email?
Yeah, I did. If I'm putting you on the spot, we can hold off on this.
Okay, so we visited McAllister on Thursday. Linda from the health department went over there. Actually, her timing was, well, I guess good.
Too late.
She was able to meet with somebody. It was from the bank, because McAllister's bankrupt, so the bank was taking over the property that day. She discussed the issues with the dirt in the back. They said they would work on it. Didn't seem like that was really going to come to fruition. So in the meantime, if the property's not taken care of with the dirt removal and with the abatement company coming out, we're going to have the village abatement company go out there and go ahead and put down the pest control stuff for the meantime, and we'll just add it on to the water department billing to put a lien on the property for until the new owners take over, whoever that may be. So in the meantime, we're going to do our best we can to manage the situation and just hold the costs for the new owner.
Sounds good. We've been in contact with them too, Chief? Now, they don't have a new owner yet, but the management company of A&T, they have McKay, I know that's who's trying to sell it. They understand that too?
They understand. There was nobody there from McAllister. We were actually talking with the bank employees that were coming there just to take an inventory of what was left and that sort of thing.
We met with Mr. McKay, the realtor, and so forth, so, okay. We'll have to keep him apprised of that as well.
Thanks, Chief.
Should we consider an ordinance legislation? Should we consider an ordinance for property liens? Or is that something that we can maintain?
Well, you don't have the authority to, I guess, enact an ordinance providing for liens on property for certain things, but you could rely on the statute for that, yes.
Right, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you don't need to pass an ordinance.
Okay.
If there's a statute that allows it, you can do it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Board, time for any presentations, petitions, or communications? I wanted to just add to, we're going to have to get this posted yet. I just looked at this today. We have a gentleman, and we really want to start looking. The whole idea, which was, I appreciate, was brought to our attention recently for special use when it came to truck repair businesses and trailer repair and so forth, was to really qualify through our Planning and Zoning Committee where those businesses are going to be located. Unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks, I was just informed us last week, Hennef Trucking Transportation pulled out of Alsip, which I had no knowledge of.
When did they do that?
Pardon?
When did they do that?
Just last week.
Wow.
And apparently, again, I know I've only been in the chair for a short time, but apparently there was a buyer for that property for a trailer repair business. And I went over there today and took a look, and I talked to him and his realtor on Friday, and I told him, I says, this is really not a great time to be doing this. We really want to qualify truck repair and repair businesses, and especially storage. And apparently they had previous conversation with our previous mayor and his administrative assistant as well, and the property's already been purchased. So nothing's been done at this time, but I am going to refer this to Planning and Zoning for a special use permit, only because one exists. But I believe in this case, and I did explain to the gentleman, this is one of the few exceptions we're going to still be making it, because we really are going to try and qualify these businesses better, is to not become a trucking village. We welcome the business, but at the same time, we don't want to shut out many other businesses that might want to come in here as well. We're overwhelmed with trucks. They inundate our traffic. They beat our streets up pretty well, and while we welcome their business, we still need to qualify how many trucking businesses we're going to have here, because really our surrounding suburbs really are not bringing in more trucking companies. We're one of the few that have done that, and we need to take a better look at that. We're not discriminating against them, but we need to qualify, how many trucking businesses we want to have come into town. So that's where these special use permits come in. And again, I'll be referring this to the Planning and Zoning Committee for another Planning and Zoning Committee meeting, because I know you have to give them at least a 15-day notice to have said meeting and so forth then too. So this can't happen at the meeting coming up on the 14th. There's not enough time, but I just want to keep the board apprised of what's going on with that. That's all. Next, would anyone like to remove any items from the consent agenda? No? Then can I get a motion to establish a consent agenda?
So moved.
A second.
Motion and second.
Okay. Motion to establish the consent agenda to fill in the items that are missing. Item A should read $380,942.59. Item B will read $1,861,526.94. Item H will become ordinance number 2017-6-1. Item I will become ordinance number 2017-6-2. Roll call number 4 to establish. Trustee McGreal is absent. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to establish the consent agenda as presented.
Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to establish the consent agenda as presented. I'm sorry, to approve the consent agenda as presented. This is roll call number 5. Trustee McGreal is absent. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve.
Thank you. Any unfinished business? Any new business? Then can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Okay, we just have some.
Great. Appreciate it. All right, let me give you my card too. Just, yeah, because I'm going to just record.